Like Steve McQueen, I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, and most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, you guys, because I want to put the right information out there from people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take all that information and apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I proudly fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Solo show today. I believe I got a guest locked in for later this week, and then obviously Friday is Q&A day. I've already got a couple of Qs dropped into the DMs here, and I'll answer them live on Friday's show, you guys. And again, if you have any questions, sales or operations related, that you want answered, drop them on the DM, and I'll answer them live on Friday's show. But before we go any further, as always, you guys, gotta give a shout out to my friends over at VHub, vhubapp.com. Whether you're a broker, carrier, or a shipper, we all need access to trailers at some point in time. And the best part, you get paid to move these trailers. That's right, you guys. That's on top of the revenue that you can get by loading these trailers out. Or you know what? If you want to offer an enterprise level sales solution to your customers, this gives you that opportunity to create a drop trailer pool. So what they're working on right now, you guys, they got trailers in San Diego, California, Ron Burgundy's hometown, literally going all over the place, you guys. They have a couple of roll-up doors left, looking to go up to New Hampshire with them, but then they also have standard swing door drive-ins going to Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, and Texas. And again, it ranges between $1,100 and $2,200 US per move, you guys. And then they also have 136 trailers in Paragould, Arkansas, needing to get up to Mississauga, Ontario, and they pay $736 US per move, you guys. So again, but these trailers don't just have to be loaded out in those cities, right? Like you can grab them out of San Diego or Paragould, for example, you know, and you can bring them over to Memphis, Tennessee, or Nashville. They just got to end up in that GTA, the Greater Toronto area, and end up at their destination there, you guys. So hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends, Zach Lonergan, he's already in the audience, and Stacey Steen. Hit them up. Do me a favor. Let them know the Freight Coach sent you. Zach already says, "Good morning, Freight Coach." Insert hype horns and fireworks. I would fucking love to have some pyros. You know what, dude? That's what I'm going to think one day. I already tried to get this for some of the organizations that invite me to speak at their conferences. I asked them what their take is on pyrotechnics, because I'd like some fucking flamethrowers and shit. Not there yet, but one day it'll happen. Tracy St. Clair, what is up? She's watching over on YouTube, you guys. I go live on YouTube every single day, as well as Twitter, and then LinkedIn. And yeah, you guys, so if you go, if there's other platforms, or you hit up the audio only replay of the show, do your boy a solid, subscribe and share if you get value out of what you hear on these shows. Sunny Sharma, good morning, Freight Freaks. I love it, man. That's awesome. Catherine Whitehouse back at it with us again, all the way from Connecticut. Dylan Turner on YouTube, what is up? Let's get some. Trey Lincoln, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Bob Haas Roddy, good morning to you as well, my friend. Yeah, you guys, it's been an eventful week so far, and it's only Tuesday. I was just literally on a call with a couple of my good friends. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Freight Caviar. Subscribe to his newsletter, you guys, if you're not. I love his content. And then same with my man Trey Griggs. He goes, he's got a couple of shows. He goes live on Fridays, Word on the Street, after my show, and everything. Hit that stuff up, you guys. Again, look, consume content from industry folks. That's all I'm going to say with a lot of that stuff. And, you know, it's just always good catching up with friends in the industry. And, you know, it's like, we don't have the time to talk as much as we used to and everything. But again, support all those stuff. Because, you know, that's what the thing, I'm a big fan of the independents, you know, whether it's our independent truck drivers or independent media or people who are just fucking bootstrapping it and grinding it out and trying to make shit happen. I'm a huge fan of what a lot of those individuals do. And I support you because I'm doing the same shit. Zach, if you know a fireworks guy, yes, dude. Yes. And Teal, I'm right there with you. A full-on Motley Crue show, dude, that would be sick. Mid-'80s type theater, pain tour. Dude, just have them, and I'll just come out like to girls, so I can just rev up the motorcycle and just run. Dude, see, now we're talking, you guys. See, this is where collaboration is so key. That would be fucking cool, right? I'm just saying. There's a lot of shit that's going on right now. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news. Let me see here. Diesel is up $3.10 week over week. Pretty big jump here, and it's up to $3.90 a gallon nationwide. And I get all of this from the EIA. You guys, EIA.gov is where I get all this information to watch that, because I have a lot of customers that you bid out fuel, line haul plus fuel. And this just gives you an insight into the national average. My customers are all different on their fuel schedule. So that's something to pay attention to, you guys, when you are onboarding customers who do pay line haul plus fuel. There isn't like one set rate that they use for a fuel surcharge. So pay attention to that. And you can get out there and really find the most accurate way to price that out. And you can also do that with my friends over at Green Screens, you guys. They're up here on this corner. I can't get my hand down there, but I use Green Screens inside of my brokerage right now, and we are winning an exponential amount of freight through their pricing. And again, you guys, it's getting that most accurate pricing for today's freight, especially because a lot of us are building it up where we don't have a contract, right? Where it's a lot of spot market, same day, last minute opportunities. Cause that's what I love about what Green Screens has, most importantly, is because like your first couple of loads, for the most part, you guys are going to be spot market, last minute opportunities. It's not going to come in the form of, oh, hey, you can grab this on fucking Thursday. First come, first serve, 24/7 shipper receiver, weighs 10,000 pounds. It's not going to work that way, you guys. It's going to be real time, last minute, heat of the moment stuff. And you need the most accurate price out there. You need the most accurate price that's going to work for your customer and the carrier alike. So again, if you're interested in what they're doing, again, I'm using them as well as a lot of other brokers are using them, and we are all winning significantly more business. Greenscreens.ai/the freight coach. It's another way you can support what we're doing over here, you guys, because again, they're also committed to moving the industry forward. Like I am very fortunate to have the opportunity to have the amount of advertisers that I have and the amount of people who are on board with what I'm doing from this media and education perspective. And, I only partner with companies that are invested in moving the industry forward. And I think that for all of us, it's a great way to look into it. And really that's what we're here, you guys. We're here to move this industry forward, one truckload at a time. Let me see here. Tony, I do not need drayage. Darnell, good morning to you, sir. Very good morning to you. Let me see. I don't know. Dude, I'm not actually sure. I haven't actually looked into that. That might be my own ignorance. But it could be set up. And if not, man, dude, I'll actually be up in Vancouver here in a couple of weeks. So I'll talk to him up there if it's not, and see what we can do to get that up and running, my man. What is up, man? Jonathan Gonzalez, is it Johannatan? That'd be a sweet name if it was. My son's name's Johan. Good morning to you, sir. Luca, what is up? Anyone from yeah, dude, Canadians are everywhere on this show. Luca, you guys are everywhere, which I love. We're technically an international show. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Anyways, let's get into some articles here. Let's break down some news, and my favorite topics are going to be brought up right now. And again, I am not anti alternative energy or anything like that. I am anti the government telling us that we can only do electric and everything else. So anyways, first article, ttnews.com. Stephen Title says, good morning from Seattle. Canadians everywhere. It's a, you know what? That's the thing. It's just they're everywhere, and there's just so much positivities and stories being dropped everywhere. Luca, thanks for tuning in, brother. I appreciate that, man. First article we're going to break down today, though, you guys, is from ttnews.com. Rural states tell the EPA to fuck. I'm just kidding. The rural states and groups tell EPA of emissions proposals concerns. If you're not up to speed on this, very much look into what potential framework is being laid right now. I mean, obviously, again, I don't really talk politics on this show unless it is very much directly associated with transportation because there's enough fucking negativity out there. But again, this is very much a partisan issue on a lot of the stuff going on. And if and when the administration changes here under the next couple of years, a lot of this stuff is going to go away. But again, this is a very real thing. State transportation planners, rural farmers, and electric utilities are joining a chorus of stakeholders expressing concern about the potential consumer and business costs associated with a federal proposal aimed at expanding use of electric vehicles and curtailing the prevalence of internal combustion engines. The DOT for Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming, in a letter to the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, said the agency's proposed emission standards for model years 2027 and later and medium duty rule, which aims to propel a shift from diesel and gasoline powered vehicles to EVs, would drastically affect revenue flowing into the Highway Trust Fund, which is derived from federal taxes on gas and diesel. The note that EVs contribute nothing to the fund, yet still exacerbate wear and tear on the roads. The loss of this revenue for road maintenance, they argue, would negatively affect access to essential services such as schools, employment, food, health services, and more. The states further noted that EV usage is much less common in other states compared with others. EVs are not well suited for our nation's climates, especially in the states that are rural, are high altitude, or both, the letter said. In such areas, long distance travels, often extreme temperature ranges, significantly impact those ranges. The long distance and sparse revenue that define operations from some rural electric were the crux of concerns that are out there, which in its comments expressed significant concern that EPA has failed to adequately account for the costs associated with serving the new load that will be created via light and medium duty vehicles. On average, electric co-ops serve 8 customers per mile of line and collect annual revenue of approximately $19,000 per mile. And then while other utility sectors average 32 customers and $79,000 in annual revenue per mile. The group represents 900 local electric co-ops and rural electric utilities in ag regions and isolated farming communities. About 42 million Americans across 56% of the country get power from electric co-ops, including 92% of the nation's persistent poverty counties and low population areas. Crawford's letter outlines supply chain challenges and transmission systems upgrades required for these utilities, which would result in higher consumer costs. Interesting. $4,000 per household to add electric breakers for EV chargers, new transformer fees that range from $25,000 to $40,000, and power line extension costs of between $50,000 and $75,000. Electric co-ops are waiting a year on average to receive distribution transformers. She added, additionally, lead times for larger power transformers are delayed by more than 3 years, and orders for electrical conduits have been delayed 5-fold to 20 weeks, with costs ballooning by 200% year over year. As a result, new projects are being deferred or canceled. I've talked about this extensively on this show. It seems like it's just like every other week there's another article about how there is a massive push for a lot of this stuff to happen. And again, I want to breathe cleaner air just like everybody wants to, but our infrastructure is not built for this, especially not in the time frame. And I'm not saying that it couldn't be done. I just think that we are nowhere near this being done. And, these years are going to be like, I know that everybody sees it and they're like, oh, it's, 7 years or 8 years away. Time goes by a lot faster than you think. And again, we have to work and look at every single possible alternative and solution to what could possibly happen in the event. Like, I mean, again, right now in Arizona, it's fucking hot as fuck out here. Are those vehicles sustainable in this current climate? Precursor, I may have an article about that coming up here after this. And then on top of that, the states that they listed, a lot of the tests out there so far have been done in perfect weather conditions. So again, when it comes to a lot of these things where like the data is not there yet. And I think that is what bothers me the most is it's like they're essentially saying this shit's going to happen next week, which it's not, but I just don't like where things are going. I don't like the people telling us what we can and cannot do. I kind of think it goes against everything that our Constitution and the Bill of Rights and everything stands for about being an American. But at the end of the day, I think that this isn't just our industry, right? How much shit is ran on diesel? How many industries are like everything from farmers to construction workers, to, our power companies, right? Like I sat and listened to a executive for a large power company who is very much on board for this, not be able to answer how they planned on dealing with a power outage in the middle of the winter in the event that the power went out and they couldn't charge any of their vehicles to restore power. The guy was actually dumbfounded by the question. And it was almost, this guy is a 7-figure earner. All right. 7-figure earner, head of a company, and can't even answer what their plan was in the event that there was a power outage. That's fucking so concerning to me. That is probably what is most concerning for me is it's like that it is such an ideology that's being pushed out there. And, people are going to sit there and say, oh, the climate and, global warming and everything else. And again, my biggest counter argument to anybody is if you've never Google imaged what a lithium mine looks like, tell me how that's better for the environment. I want to know. I want to know how that is better for the environment. But this article, again, it's good. You guys, you need to stay on top of this stuff because if these laws are passed and then again, states kind of follow with each other. So if it's a blue state that's passing a law or a red state that's passing a law, pay attention to that shit, you guys, because those things kind of travel across state lines very quick. ttnews.com, though, and that's rural states and group tell EPA mission, tell them of their concerns out there. And the next article is from FreightWaves, and you guys are familiar with Nikola, and fire-damaged Nikola electric truck reignites. Interesting. Will a recall follow? And then a Nikola battery electric vehicle severely damaged in a fire at the company's Phoenix headquarters last month reignited, raising concerns about the safety of battery packs in their trucks. The fire Sunday afternoon, fortunately, resulted in no injuries, and its engineering team is investigating the original fire still with a third-party contractor to determine the root cause. The company declined to address whether it was it would file a safety defect, which could lead to a recall with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. The findings will determine the next steps, Nikola said in a statement. Why the truck caught on fire for a second time is unknown, but it points to questions about purported battery defects in the truck's reported June 27th about their original fire. And then Romeo Power is a subsidiary of Nikola that said the company said July 5th it would liquidate made the battery packs. The company suspected foul play in the original a fire out there. It said a car was seen leaving the area, and defective batteries are suspects in fires, and that leaves batteries themselves as a possible cause, and that they kept the damaged trucks in a secure area of the headquarters. The truck was being monitored closely, they said. In situations such as where the battery electric vehicle has its systems compromised, it is known to have higher than normal likelihood to reignite, which is why our safety and engineering teams were monitored as the investigation continues. And they said had a significant safety defect in the battery modules used in the electric semis that were out there. And the company paused that production in May to modify the assembly line. And that to modify the assembly line to build battery electric and hydrogen fuel cell electric trucks. Fuel cell truck production begins this quarter. And they said on May 9th that it is ceasing regular production of the Tre BEV, which would build only as orders were received. And let me see here. According, engineers found that the corroded battery cells that would self-discharge laser welding punctured some of the battery cells. And then the corrosion can create heat, generate and increase resistance out there. And then when weld issues were found and the end-of-line processes, a quarantine process was implemented, which required inspection of every module and to, blah, blah, blah. essentially there's a lot of, like that's concerning to me, right? Like if there's a truck that is damaged by fire right there, and then it can possibly reignite, that's an increased safety concern for the motoring public. I mean, imagine fucking having, fortunately, nobody was injured in this. I want to start with that. Fortunately, nobody was injured in this at all, or the reignition of that. But again, it's just not like, and I know that they don't have everything figured out, right? Like it's still early stages and everything, but I just think that these are the topics that need to be talked about a lot. And, you can't just sit there and say that they're like everything's perfect, right? If they would take a realistic approach to rolling this out, my opinion might be a little bit different. But again, it's always like just the fucking plane of ignorance that just bugs the shit out of me in this one. But that article was from freightwaves.com, and that the electric truck reignites. And then if a recall would follow. Sunny Sharma says, hell fucking no, the world cannot handle all of these. Yeah, I would agree with that. Catherine, I so agree with your views on lithium mining. Spot on. Again, I've shown that picture on here, you guys, a couple of times, and I want you all to look at that. I want you all to look at that. Again, I want to state my opinion very, very clearly, again, because people love to call that out. And I got receipts, you guys. At the end of the day, I save all my fucking recordings. I'm not against alternative options for stuff. What I'm against is the government telling us we have to do it this way and this way only. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. Anyways, third article we're going to break down today is from ttnews.com also, and this is what Knight Swift reports: a 71% earnings drop for Q2. Again, all the links to the articles, you guys, I do put up on the YouTube channel, The Freight Coach, as well as the audio-only replay, which is on iTunes and Spotify. I'll always put those links up there for you guys because I want you guys to read a lot of these articles yourselves. Again, this is just like my opinion, man. And that's all this really is, you guys, is I'm reading these damn near for the first time on this show, and I just give you guys a real life opinion on that. Anyways, Knight Swift on July 20th reported that earnings dropped 71% year over year in the second quarter. The Phoenix-based truckload motor carrier posted net income attributable to a company of $63.3 million, or 39 cents a diluted share, for the 3 months ending June 30th. That compared with $219.5 million, and or $1.35 a share during the same time the previous year. Total revenue decreased 20.8% to $1.55 billion from $1.96 billion. And Knight Swift ranks number 7 on the TT Transport Topics Top 100 list for largest for hire carriers. I am putting this out here right now, breaking news for the very first time, completely uncorroborated or substantiated opinion of none other than myself. I have no inside information. I wouldn't be surprised if Knight Swift buys Yellow. I'm just throwing that out there right now. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I think I'm putting them out there as the dark horse candidate because I have been saying for the last couple of days that I believe that Yellow is going to be bought out for pennies on the dollar. After a conversation I had with a buddy of mine yesterday, I think it's going to be Knight Swift as a dark horse buyer because they, recently bought a big LTL company last year, and then they bought another trucking company this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they buy this out. This is complete opinion of mine. I have no proof of this at all. I want to be very, 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 very fucking clear. It's just a gut, just a hunch. They'll buy Yellow. Just saying. July 25th, 2023. You guys heard it here first. Anyways, the results fell below expectations on Wall Street. We're now over a year into the freight down cycle, with an unusual combination of dynamics to work to create particularly difficult operating environment. The CEO, Dave Jackson, said, "I don't know if we've ever seen freight demand fall this far or so fast for so long without an accompanying economic recession." I understand what Dave Jackson is saying here, but I think that's like what explained the cataclysmic rise in freight, is we've never had anything comparable to that. So again, it's like it shot up. And again, you can attribute why freight volumes and rates shot up a couple years ago. You can completely attribute to it. And again, that was going to run out eventually. So I understand why he's saying this, but I also think that it's because shit just returned to normal, right? That's just my opinion again on that. Jackson added that he is not suggesting that truckload demand softness is an automatic read-through or predictive indicator of broader economic weakness. He is even encouraged with how consumers and the economy have digested interest rate increases and their positive impact on inflation. The truckload market was severely impacted by the reduction from unusual and enormous growth in inventories that built up in the later part of 21 and into 22. The worst of those adjustments appear to be behind us, and we expect further normalization in the flow of goods and supply chains. This normalization is now being met with less truckload capacity as carriers have not survived this harsh truckload market. And Jackson has added that one of the reasons carriers have exited the market is the high cost of reprieve that a decline in the truckload freight demand would normally bring, pointing to inventory destocking efforts as preventing that. He noted broader economic recession would have matched those soft freight volumes out there. None of these cost concessions have been present at this time, leading to margin pressure and business failures for others. Jackson says these prolonged challenges are setting up for an eventual strong recovery. Such recoveries often come from an unlikely catalyst and can be difficult to predict without precision. Knight-Swift announced less than a week after the quarter ended that it closed on its acquisition of U.S. Express Enterprises. Jackson acknowledged the difficult business environment at the time, but argued the transaction was a chance to improve earnings, gain customers, and reach more professional drivers. We are positioned to grind in a current environment and thrive as conditions improve. This includes newly acquired U.S. Express. Additionally, we have significant opportunities unique to Knight-Swift, such as the build out of our LTL network, baby. I'm just saying, you guys, I'm just saying they're going to fucking buy Yellow. I have no proof, but I'm just saying. Less than truckload revenue increased 2% for them to $228.6 million from $224.2 million. Operating income declined 30.9%. Their logistics decreased revenue, intermodal revenue decreased across the board, and TD Cowen noted in a report out there. And yeah, I think that, again, it's good news. Not a good news, excuse me. It was a good article by TT News. Knight-Swift reports 71% earnings drop for Q2. And again, I think it's very much has to do with the market at the end of the day, you guys. That's what it is going to boil down to. The market is now back to where it was. And, you know, again, I just think that paying attention to these trend lines, you guys, again, take my opinion for what it's worth. I went to public school, right? But I can add, all right? I can add. And when you increase at the level that the freight volumes and rates increased, obviously profits are going to increase in the market. You know, people's earnings are going to increase, and then they're going to drop eventually, right? Because it just wasn't sustainable, right? And I think that we're dealing with the after effects of a lot of that, you know, again, and this is just coming from somebody who I've been building up my businesses for the last couple of years. I don't know shit. I just know what not to do and what I've learned so far. And it is one of those situations that one of the hardest things to learn in business, at least for me, was that when the money was flowing, that thinking that it was always going to stay that way. And that was a mistake that I made, right? And I'm paying for that, right? I signed up for a bunch of shit last year because I thought that fucking money was going to be that way. And then I only used those services one time. And then I didn't use them again. And then the renewal notices came in this year. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't even use those. So again, like you kind of get caught up in those moments. So this is always an opportunity to reassess your operation, your expenses, look at your P&L, see what you can go without, see what you're paying for twice, and then make it through. Because again, if you're an owner op out there listening to this right now, you're closer to it recovering than not at this point. I my gut tells me it's going to be after Labor Day is when it's going to happen. I'm not going to say there's going to be a massive increase in spot market rates or anything like that, but I think that you're going to start to see that inflection point happen after Labor Day this year. So all I'm saying is if you've made it this far, keep fucking pushing, keep showing up every single day and making stuff happen, because those results that you're looking for, that the revenue and everything are going to be, they're closer to them coming back in your favor than not. But that's going to be it for today, you guys. I'll have more articles tomorrow. Again, I dropped a brand new podcast today with Mason George with IMC Companies. Phenomenal listen on what they do in the drayage and intermodal sector. And again, I love talking to subject matter experts, and he's definitely one of them. Paul McClellan, hey, from Boston, wicked pissish. Oh man, Paul, I love it. I love it. Thank you for tuning in, Paul. But that's going to be it, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. And as always, if you guys got value, subscribe and share the show, you guys. Rank the show on iTunes and Spotify. Hit that 5-star if you think you got 5-star information from me today. But that's going to be it. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And we'll be talking to you soon.